Welcome back to the program. Now let's move on to our guest that we have, but let's give you a little bit of what she does. Now, painting is a very important part of modern day designing, and it's not every day we see an artist who specialize in painting office and home spaces. Well, joining us on the show today is Margaret Olele, simply called Maggie by most.
Now, she is a contemporary muralist with special interest in homes, schools and offices, with about 5 years experience printing her name in the visual arts space. As she's now a full-time muralist whose signature is aimed at redefining our living spaces to bring calm and serenity in a very, very busy world. All right, Margaret, Maggie for short as they call it. Margaret, good morning to you. Welcome to Breakfast Central. First off, how did it start for you being a muralist? Because this is clearly a form of art, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Thank you for having me at your studio, first of all. So for the start of being a muralist, it wasn't the regular sunshine and roses. It actually started as a need to fill a void. Now, this was as a result of the fact that growing up, my parents were never really around, so they were working in 2 separate states while the children had stayed in a different state. And I wasn't really happy about that. But the one thing I was so happy about was looking forward to my father coming around by weekends, because he would always draw for us, And as a means to connecting to him when he wasn't around, I would take the papers he had drawn on and try to trace it or recreate whatever art he had drawn. And then when he come back, I'd be like, "Oh, daddy, look at what I made." And he would always encourage me, so it made me go ahead and started drawing different things so that I would have more things to show daddy when he got back. Wow. So that was actually the start of my journey to being a muralist. It started from just drawing and scribbling like little things as a child.
And how old are you as a child? How old were you as at that time when you were just going after your father's papers?
I think I was about 6 or 7.
6, 7 years.
Yes.
Interestingly, you have a first degree where your first degree is in you have a bachelor's in business admin, and you also went on to do masters in human resource management. You never did anything related to this art as a specialization.
No,
what really inspires your training? Your painting, I beg your pardon.
Okay, so I am inspired by a need to be part of the creative process. I have this idea that while God was creating humanity and the earth, he could have afforded to have created probably everything for us, but he left a few things for us to enjoy what it felt like creating. So he gave us opportunity to create our furnitures, our homes, and art. So I am deeply inspired by being among such creative process. It gives me joy bringing up something from nothing. So that's the first inspiration. The other is that I am inspired by how art connects people, because art is a language. It brings people together the same way football brings people, together. So that's one of the things that inspire. Oh yeah, and I'm also inspired by children. I love children. Okay. The first times I had started drawing, I had basically done for little children in their rooms, in play areas and daycares and the rest of it. So yeah, that's where my inspiration comes from.
Yeah, so we're seeing a great work you do, especially when it comes to walls. Now, being a muralist, so basically, does it like you always have to work on a platform, on a wall, on a flat slate, for graffiti and all that, or is there any difference? So how would you describe your work?
Oh, so murals is, well, like you already know, is literally painting on a large surface, mostly walls. But since the purpose of art is usually in telling a story, I feel like my storytelling could be on any platform. Mostly it's walls, but I've done works that are on, on pots, on tables, anywhere I can actually find a space to put my paints into is where I I put my drawings.
All right.
All right, Maggie. I mean, just before I let you go, Lisa, I know we have a lot of questions to ask her, but I really want to know, at what point in your life did you decide to use the business potential of this artwork? When? Was it when you were a child, or was it after you finished your first degree?
Okay, it was definitely when I was a child. I didn't even understand what I was doing as at then. It was after I had started my master's, you know. So we had this recurrence of strike in school, and I had to pay for my space where I was staying over and over, and it seemed to have been unending. So I got pissed off one morning. I called up my friend who was here in Lagos, and then I told her I was coming over. So she was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I came over to Lagos. That was in 2019 precisely. I came to Lagos. I would always watch her go to work, you know, and I wouldn't do anything. And I'm like, I can't keep up with this. Although I came for holiday, you know, or just to have a breather. But at some point, I had noticed, first of all, the first thing I noticed when I came to Lagos is that there was a lot of artwork everywhere. And I found it amazing. So I told myself one morning, okay, instead of waiting and not doing anything meaningful, how about I make use of what I already have? So although I'm a terrible social media user, I went online. I tried to make some connections with a few people I had seen online randomly. You know, I just told them, oh, I'm an artist, I could do this and this for you. And true story, so I came to Lagos this week, for example, and the next week I had my first mural job at Chevy View, to be precise. And I was so excited.
Wow.
You know, so that's basically where it started from.
Wow. So it's all about holding your talent and skills. So what happens to business administration degree and master's in human resources? Like, wow.
Okay, so the reason I had done a master's, I had wanted to lecture. That was always my dream.
And if you're going to lecture, Maggie, sorry to cut you, is it arts or business?
No. Of course, human resource. I wanted to be a lecturer in human resource. My mom is a professor, so I had always watched her, you know, teach. A few times I would go to class with her and just watch her, you know, do her thing in the classrooms. So I had told her that, you know, I was interested in lecturing, and then it was obvious that I had to do a master's before I lectured.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Maggie, for coming on the program. Our contemporary muralists right here in Lagos are coming to our studio's breakfast session. Really appreciate it, and good luck with the mural. In fact, you can mural the whole of Lagos. We need more of such art. Thanks once again for coming on the program.
Thank you.